What's up everyone? Today we're going to look into some research and talk about the do's and don'ts of warming up. Let's get started. This is going to be a series of a couple of videos, but today we're going to start off with a serious question. Should you stretch as part of your warm-up? So, there are a couple of different types of stretching people recommend. Static stretching is where you find a position and hold it for 30 seconds to forever. Dynamic stretching is where you find that same position that you were holding for a static stretch, but you don't hold it and you try to push your muscles to stretch further. A great study that Anthony Blazevic did in 2017 took a group of athletes and split them up into 3 different groups. One that did static stretching, one that did dynamic stretching, and then one that didn't stretch at all during their warm-ups. They all participated in the same activities and everything else was the same too. And when it was all said and done, they found that static and dynamic stretching didn't influence performance when compared to not stretching at all. And we think this transfers over to strength training too. We don't have all day in the gym and we think there's more productive ways to spend your time than stretching. Oh man, I'm wrecked. Oh, yesterday's workout killed me. Luckily, I just need to roll it out for like 30 minutes and I'll feel good. That is exactly why I don't recommend people use foam rolling or any other self-myofascial release technique as part of their warm-up. Not only is it a huge passive band-aid people are depending on to make themselves feel better, it's a huge waste of time in a world that people are claiming they don't have enough time to train. A great study from 2016 compared hamstring stiffness, both perceived and actual range of motion, in a couple of different groups of cyclists. As their warm-up, one group of cyclists used a foam roller, one just jumped on the bike and started warming up, and the last group did a mixture of both. The group that just cycled and the group that did a little bit of both had similar outcomes, and this brought them to the conclusion that they found no meaningful effect of foam rolling on range of motion or perceived tightness in the cyclist's hamstrings. On top of this, the latest systematic review on instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilizations, which came out earlier this year, doesn't support the use of these tools to improve pain, function, or range of motion in healthy people or those with varied pathologies. And this could be a foam roller, a lacrosse ball, a metal or plastic tool you find on the internet, or even the ones PTs and chiropractors use. It all comes back down to passive versus active modalities. If your end goal is to lift heavy weight, which is an active activity, you're gonna have to do some sort of lighter intensity active warm-up for that specific exercise. So why don't we just throw those passive modalities away and be more productive with our time and spend it doing the actual activity we want to do that day. So we've talked about a couple of don'ts when it comes to warming up, but how do I recommend you warm up? I think you should be task specific. So you should warm up with a specific exercise you plan on doing first that day. So the best way to warm up for the squat is to squat. And the best warm up for the bench press is to bench. Obviously, we need to start at a lower intensity or lower weight than you plan on doing for your work sets. And on top of that, there's no reason not to move quickly as you build. So here's how I warmed up for my overhead press today. I'm building up trying to find a single at 8 RPE. So I started off with a couple sets of 5 or 6 reps with the empty bar. Then went up to 95 pounds for a set of 4. After that, I grabbed my wrist straps and belt and hit 135 for a set of 2. Then I hit 165 and felt a slight change in bar speed, so I called it there.